right? Now let's discuss about functions or methods, we call them. So how are they similar or different when comparing with Java or Python? If you look at this piece of function code, define function fun is the function name, and anything inside the parenthesis or the list of parameters or the arguments, and colon, as you know, where a colon data type we were giving, right, declaring the variables. So here also a colon int, and this is everything. If you can take the fun as a function and its return type, colon, its return type is int. And
why is the data type mentioned twice there?
why is the data type mentioned for?
It's there is a colon int and then again a colon int. So that function's data type is int and a again is int. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. It's the argument data type. It takes an argument which is of integer type, and it's the function's return type is int. Okay, I'm explaining the same end to end. Okay, let me complete. So here, so if you look at this syntax, it's pretty much similar to your Python functions. So that is where from Scala took this kind of syntax. So here fun is the function name. Anything inside the parentheses are the arguments, and if you have multiple arguments, you can separate them by comma. And you have to tell all the way parameter names and their data types. Okay. So once after you close the parenthesis, colon, your function return type. What is the value that you are going to return from the function execution? And you see one extra equal symbol also for defining the body, your function body. But in Java we don't have this equal symbol, right? Here we will have this equal. See, inside your curly brace you can do whatever you want. Let's say if I pass an integer number 10, so this will make it 11. This will make it 10 minus 2, 8. And this will make it a star 3, 10 star 3. And this is here. The result of this statement is 11. This statement is 8. And this statement is 30. Okay. But my last statement, so far we were seeing so many the blocks of pieces of code, right? In the for loops, the yield statement, whatever the last statement that is the return value, right? So in this case, if you see here, val s equal to e dot to uppercase, and simply saying yes, the last value automatically gets returned. You don't need to use the return keyword explicitly. And even the same case in our expressions that we have seen so far. Okay, so here val x equal to 5 star 20, so meaning 100, and 100 plus 10, 110. So 110 automatically gets assigned to this amount. I don't need to use that return keyword. The last statement value will automatically get returned from this block to this variable. The same way, the return statement is optional in the functions as well. You don't need to explicitly specify the return statement, return a star 3. So by default, the value of the last statement gets returned. Okay, the function of 10 now. So no matter whatever the previous statement's values, finally inside your p, val p colon int. So now p will have 30. Okay. So this is a function which takes an integer argument, and function that takes a string argument, str string, equal to. So if you don't have multi-line statements inside your function body, if it is just one line, str double equals to str dot reverse dot toString. So even if you reverse the string, if it is the same, then you can call it as a palindrome. That's why I have a definition of the palindrome function. Str equal to this thing. So this is as good as you are checking this if and returning based on that value. So by default, if you use the compare operator, it will return the true or false, this comparison. So that will get returned here. Okay, let's try to see and execute these two functions. Okay. Now, if you observe one thing, this defined function is a function defined inside another function, nested function. Okay. Anyway, I mean, my main concept here is not talking about the nested functions at this moment. So I can even, I'm just highlighting you that I wrote these functions inside my, oh, okay, I don't have main method here. Yeah, you can even write that inside main method. It's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, in sense, anyway, it's not the case. Let's discuss once the topic comes. Until then, so you see this, the P is 30 now. Once it executed, function, so P got assigned, P printed 30, last string. Now, so is palindrome, it's taking a string as parameter. I'm calling that function is palindrome of by passing more. And if the string and its reverse, they both are equal, then this function should return true, right? And it's resulting true. Okay. Now, so far you have observed one difference, or the differences that you observed.
We don't have a colon, semicolon to assign, because in the previous function you had colon int. It means that integer is the type.
I'm concluding them 1 second. Yeah. So I mean, that's why I'm trying to give you that before I go to the next topic or the next slide, please stop me. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to conclude things here. Okay. I mean, good that you're analyzing and coming up with the summary here, but just for the sake of everyone, I mean, let me summarize and put all the points. The differences that you observe with Java program or any other programming language other than Scala that you have seen so far, a return statement is, the return keyword is optional. Your last line result, last statement result is the return value. Okay. Since here you are returning the integer value is specified after the function name :int as the return type. So this is return keyword is optional. That is one difference, and equal to specify the function body is another difference. Okay, and so one more difference is that here I have specified :int. Here I didn't specify what is its return type. But still, if you check here, if you take here, based on the last statement, okay? So yeah, if you highlight here itself, so if you, yeah, so def is palindrome, it is taking string, automatically derive the is boolean data type, right? So same like your variable type inference, this is the function type inference. The type inference feature still applicable for your functions as well. The way you, when you are giving var I equal to 100, how it derives this as an integer? See, var I equal to int. Okay. So even if you take, let's see, still integer only. That might be going beyond the size of it. Yeah, it's taking. If I make it L, automatically it goes. Now, the same way your variables data type is getting inferred, for your functions or methods also, the data type, return data type gets inferred. So based on the last statement that you have in your function body, it decides the return type. So that is, specifying the return type is also optional. Specifying the return keyword is optional, and specifying the return type is also optional. Okay. Now, few more things on functions, then I will pass for your questions. Okay. Yeah, the same way, you can see the same thing here. You can observe there is no explicit return statement. The value of the last expression is. So here, if you see, define add a, which is of int, b, which is of int, a plus b. I didn't specify its return type as int here. Val m, add 1, 2, println of it. So we haven't specified the return type of the function or the type of the variable m here. Scala automatically infers that. That is called here type inference. Now, so by looking at this, you should not be assuming that the return type of your method parameters, the function arguments, will also get inferred by Scala. Okay? Scala cannot infer the data types of a comma b because they are the arguments of your function, and until and unless you call that function, you don't know what is the data type of that. Meaning, Scala can infer the data types, but at compile time. This is called static type inference. So dynamically inferring the data types at the time of running by looking at these two values, then inferring its data type. What if we have given two strings here and trying to apply some numeric operations here? So at the time of runtime, you will get exceptions and errors. You will run into errors. So because of those things, Scala does not support dynamic type inference, unlike some of the languages like Haskell kind of languages. So the Scala is static type inference. So you have written anything by looking at your code, if it can identify. So until and unless it need not to wait until the runtime. During compile time only it identifies the data types. So that's why your method parameters cannot be, their return types cannot be optional, they are mandatory. If you declare add a comma b, a plus b, compliance. Only classes can have declared but undefined members. See, if I specify the data type, the error has gone. If I remove this, so for method parameters, while writing the function, the return data type is mandatory. I mean, not return. The method argument data type is mandatory. Okay. Now, so this is one thing that we have to keep in mind. Now, here, so one more thing that you have to keep in mind. When we are passing in arguments inside a Java methods, so we don't specify whether it's a constant or these things. Okay. Whether it's a variable or constant, we can specify that. But here, what I am trying to say here is, you can't specify whether a is a variable or constant by using var or val. So if I type, as and when I type var, it's showing me an error. Identifier expected, but var found. Right? So what if I give val? Okay, identifier expected but val found. So even though these are arguments, kind of variables, you should not use neither val nor var. But then what is the nature of these? What is the nature of these? So I receive a plus b. Okay, so I receive a plus b, right? Let me show you one example. Increment me. Okay, I'm going to take I, which is of int I plus 1. Okay. Now, so after incrementing this, if I type println of I, is it getting incremented? Obviously not. So here I plus 1 is into another variable. That is just an executable statement. So you're not adding it into the same statement. Now let me call this function increment me of 10. Okay. So it printed me 10 only, right? Not able to. So what if you try to make I equal to I plus 1? So you are receiving a parameter I and you are making to increment by itself like I equal to I plus 1. So what is it throwing the error message? A reassignment to val. So we have seen this error message when we declared a very constants val j or val m equal to 1000 and m equal to 1100 or 11. So what is the error message? Reassignment to val. Val m is already a constant. You are trying to assign a new value. So that's the error, right? So that's the way. I is a constant here. I is a type of val. Its data type is int and its nature is val. That's why you are not able to assign any value or you are not able to change that value. So what I am trying to conclude, what's the statement that I am going to give you is that your function parameters are not mutable. The function parameters are not mutable as long as they are data types of any val. Yeah, very good question, Mamta. So you asked about what about reference? Yeah, exactly. That is where I'm going to come. What if you want to change your function parameters inside the function logic? You have to pass the reference. So any data types that are of like any val under the wing of or the under the tree, under the branch of any val, okay, they all cannot be modified. Okay. Now, to make them, you can practice these things. When I declared val, so it's throwing me, I identified that same error. When I declared var, it's throwing me an error message. And I declare without neither val nor var, I'm able to define this method. But I plus 2 is fine. I equal to I plus 2 is showing me that means equal is val per parameter. Okay, so these are some samples supporting the theory that I'm giving you. Okay, so achieving mutability of method parameters. What if you want to change? So as of now, we didn't talk much about the classes. Okay, different ways of declaring the classes and then all those things. So the gist is, if you pass an object, an instance of a class, so then you will be able to change. In one line, the short answer is, if you pass anything that is of child of any ref data type, then you can change that. Because there, the data types any val and any ref, any val, the value will gets passed on. Any ref, there will be an object created, only the reference will get passed on. Same like your Java methods, the primitive data types cannot be changed. Once you pass an object, okay, your Java object, inside the Java object the fields can be changed, right? The same way, here I have a class field, okay, it's of generics type, it can take any data type, and inside this I have a variable called value. Now, whenever I want to change this variable value, I will pass the object of field class. Okay. So here I have another class foo, declare two constants, two vals, x and y, new field of 0, new field of 0. So if I create the object of this is field of 0 means var value of 0. So this you will x is 0, y is 0. Now I have another class bar, define change foo field of integer. So inside that, so whatever the value that I am receiving here as a parameter to this method, I am changing that. This is an object, field dot value. So inside this field object, the value variable will get changed to 1. Okay. So more supporting OOPS concepts we'll discuss once in the next week. Okay. So my main intention is to complete the basic things, data types, okay, ints, floats, strings, arrays, and if-else condition switches for loops and functions today, at least till today, and tomorrow some of the functional programming concepts. As we know, Scala is both functional programming and as well as OOPS programming language. So first I'm trying to complete the functional programming features, then the next week remaining functional programming features we'll complete tomorrow, and the next week we'll start 3 days we'll spend purely on the OOPS concepts. Okay, that's the plan. So yeah, the gist of this slide is that if you pass an object, so here I'm passing this object of this field class, and inside that object I'm able to access this value and change it to 1 instead of 0. So val f new foo, so created an object of foo, x and y will have 0, 0 now, and I'm creating an object of this new bar dot change field f dot x. The same f dot x I'm passing here, that's the same value will get changed to 1, and it prints 1/1 by 0. Okay, so you can practice this later, but for now at least understand. Any val data types cannot be mutable by default. Any rough data types, objects if passed, they are mutable. Okay, and one more good feature that you observe here now. So if you have a set of arguments, let's say 4 or 5 arguments are there, you know the argument names but not know their order. Or oh, okay, so this is not that slide. Okay, you know their argument names, and you may not know the default values for them all. This is as good as like having constructors at method level. See, different parameters. Method, what we call method overloading, with 1 parameter, 2 parameters, 3 parameters. Right? So what I'm trying to say here is, I have a class connection. Inside this, I have a method called make connection. So it is taking 2 parameters, timeout, the protocol. Timeout how many milliseconds, which is of type integer. I'm taking 5000, and string HTTP. Now, so equal to 5000 equal to HTTP. These two things are new in this slide. So till now we didn't use equal to value in the method parameters. So this is like providing the default values to your method parameters. Now while making a call to it, I create an object of connection, C dot make connection. If I don't provide any parameter, by default, here the timeout is 5000, protocol is 60. Okay? So if you want to simply test these things, remove the extra code. Timeout %d protocol %s dot format of. So this should print 5000 and HTTP default values. Here make connection of 2000. I'm just passing only one parameter. So that is taken in the same order like 2000. The protocol is default value HTTP. The next one, so it's 3000 and it is HTTPS. So the advantages of methods in Scala over the methods in Java. That is what I'm trying to say. See, I declared the class and created an object, making the call timeout is 5000 and HTTP printed. And this time 2000, it printed these two. And this time it printed these two. So if you just provide the default values there, it's as good as like you can having this as method overloading feature. You can pass any number of arguments and the remaining values will be by default values will be picked. Okay, so this is something new, and these two are, I mean, the concept wise similar to Java. Now, next one more new thing that you can observe and make you'll get more relaxation in your coding. Using parameter names when calling a method. Now calling the method in the same shell in any order. Order is not mandatory. Let's say you know those parameter names and you can call in any order if you know the names. Okay? Let's say protocol equal to HTTPS, comma, timeout equal to 4000. See, this is not the order, right? First we need to, the order of these arguments is, first argument is timeout, second argument is protocol. So that is the order that we were following till now. And if without specifying these names, if you pass this, what will happen? Let's run it. So it's not able to convert that. When the first argument, it is expecting an integer, but you are providing a string. That's why it said found string, but required is int. So that's where, if you know the argument names, this is one more flexibility that you have. You can give any order. Just knowing the argument names, the order can be any type. Just give the argument name and its value, pass that. Okay, this is one another cool feature. Okay, now, so returning multiple items from your method. This is again like by default from your Java methods, you can return one value max. If you want to return two values, we'll create a map, or we'll create generally we'll create a map and return that. And if there are more than that, what we'll do, we'll create an object, a poso, a bean class. I hope everyone aware of that. So bean class or poso meaning, let's say if I want to return all the let me take the same example. Okay, so if I have this stock example, okay, the stock symbol, current price and bid price, the three parameters I'm going to return from my method. Now how it should be in Java is like, I need to have a separate stock info class. Okay, so inside this I need to have three variables: string stock symbol or string symbol, and string or int current price, int bid price. Okay, and getter and setter methods for them. You should have that, and then you have to return it. I have to write it into a separate. Now I have to generate the getter and setter methods through source code. I can generate the getter and setter methods for all this. Okay, now if I have this, now from my hello.java, I can return that. So if I have any if I have to define a method here, okay, public, my return type is stock info, get stock info. Okay, now simply I need to call I need to set the methods or something. Add return type, add return statement. Okay. So I need to create an object of stock info class with all those three values inside this, and then return that object anywhere if I need to send those three values. So to set them again, I need to call all these setter methods. Stock info is equal to new stock info, s dot set symbol as nflx set current price as 100, set bid price as 101. Okay, then return yes. Now I should call this method. Again here I should have this stock info. Okay, S1. Yeah, I'll make it static so that I don't need to create the object. So now I have this again println s1 dot get symbol s1 dot or yeah, I can call the directly the methods. Get symbol s1 dot get current price s1 dot get bid price. Okay, so I hope you are not getting confused. I'm trying to show you a method with multiple return values in Java, how you will achieve it. Okay, so for that, what I'm doing, I'm defining a bean class or Pojo class for that. If I have to return these three values, I declared all these three and written getter and setter methods and used and preparing that object in order to return, and while retrieving also collecting that into this stock info object and calling all the getter methods to process this. Right? So this is the stuff that I'm trying to do. Now let's see the stock information output. So let's not worry about the somewhere array index out of bounds exception is there. Yeah, here. So this is the one. It should have been the just the name. Okay. Anyway, that's not. So finally, we returned the three parameters and able to read them. So if you observe the pane here, I need to create a pozo. I need to set that object. I need to set all those fields via the object methods and then get all of them. So now see how simple in Scala to return multiple values. Just get stock info. The same value. Here also I hard coded. Don't worry about extra logic. Here also I hard coded the values. Right? The same get stock info. I'm not expecting any parameters here. Okay. simply the last statement. That's it. Last statement will get returned. And in my case, here I have only one statement. Okay. So 100, 101. That's it. Only thing is, I'm putting it into a tuple. So if I put anything into a parenthesis, if it's a different data types, I mean, it's if I don't specify what it is, it's a tuple of 3 elements, right? Now, if I want to call this method and access these values, how simple it is. See, collect all those information, val, declare another tuple, val symbol, current price and bid price, and get stock info. This is one option. Or if you want to have just val x equal to get stock info, simply call it the same println that we did there. Inside a tuple, if you want to access the fields, we have a notation x dot. See the control space, it gives you _1 to access the first field, x dot _2 to access the second field, okay. Similarly, x dot _3. The same piece of code there we have seen almost like, let's see how many lines that we wrote there. The same piece of code, I'm still able to print the NFLX and 100 and 100. So here we had to write 26, 27 lines of code, and here again 10 lines, almost like 40 lines of code. You wrote it in just 2 to 3 lines of code. So that is one another advantage, but the easiness with returning multiple values from the function. That is what I'm more stressing here. So far, all its equivalents. This slide may not be much impressive because we are always running the Java example and as well as showing the Scala example for you, right? So int x equal to 7 is same as var x. Final string y is same as val y. Okay. And Java equivalent int square int of x is return x star x. That is same as define square, which takes x, and return type is int x star x. Void announce, if there is no return type, I don't even need to specify. In Java, if it is void, in Scala it will become unit. Its return type will become unit. Okay. So this is the quick summary or the quick tour of the functions. So now the return type, the return keyword is optional. If I have to summarize all these things about the function, return statement is optional. You can tell all the observations that you can is optional, and return type is also optional. Okay. Method parameters should not be declared with var all val by default, method parameters of any val type. Okay, anything that are under the branch of any val data type, not mutable. But any ref, meaning objects that we are passing, right, are mutable, that we have seen. Okay, so that is one another observation that we made. Now, what else we have seen? Default values. We can provide default values to method parameters in the declaration itself. The while method declaration itself. Okay, so achieving method overloading this way. Okay, now next, what else? Method parameters order can be changed while calling by passing the parameter names along with values, right? And what else? Methods returning multiple values. Returning multiple values. Okay, so this is the gist or the summary points that we talked about methods. So now I give you a break for your questions. So we talked about the questions on the first half, loops, breaks, everything. Now I give you a break for functions, and after that we'll wrap up the session. Remaining topics we'll take it tomorrow. Yeah.
Shiva?
Yes, Mamta.
If you don't mind, will you please go back to the slide where Scala static type inference?
Okay. This is the one, right?
Yeah, this one I didn't get the...
Okay. So...
no, sorry, not this one. Function parameters are not mutable.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, I not really understand it. I don't know about others. So.
Okay. So I'll just show you the code here.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to do here is that this is my function. Somewhere I was defining this functions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me write it.
Disturb you that time, so.
Not a problem, I will write it. Okay. Here, so implement me is the function where I am taking I and println of I, it prints as it is. Okay. If I try, so mutable, when I say method parameters are not mutable, assigning a new value to it, correct?
Sorry, so here what are you trying to do? That I is equal to println, I is not integer.
No, I'm not doing anything right now. So changing the method parameters are not mutable means, so I can't change the value of I inside this method definition, correct?
Okay.
The statement means.
Okay.
So
Okay,
now,
I got it.
if I make it I plus 5,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm taking I as 10 and making I as 15 inside the method.
Mm-hmm.
So then it is throwing me error message that, boss, this is a val. You are trying to reassign a value.
Okay, I got it. I got it. Okay,
Okay?
because it's like not, it's a value type, it's not a reference type, so we
Yep.
cannot assign that. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And there is static type inference, right? When you declare a variable C method, like where we said A plus B, right?
Yep.
So we know the type of inputs, so we
Yep.
know what kind of variables we are getting it, but we really don't know the output, but we know A plus B.
Yep.
But sometimes in a real time scenario we may not be knowing the real type of the data type. So how do we really know whatever, like suppose let's say that I really don't know if I want to call that function, I don't know what kind of return type I'm getting it. How do I handle it?
Scala will help you. Your IDE will help you in that.
Yeah, yeah. So you said that var some variable and call that method, I know I get the value. But
See,
for
here I
me,
have this. Okay, here I have. Okay. Now, if for this I don't have the return type defined, correct?
yes, that's right.
But if you want to call it, okay, where I equal to or
Yeah,
where,
I get the result.
yep, add of some 30, 300 plus 200.
Yeah, we get the result. I tried.
You don't need to worry about the data type of it at all. Whatever the
Oh,
data type of it, you'll get it here.
okay. So because sometimes, in the real-time programming, if we don't know the data types, so we will
You
have
don't need
issues
to
with
worry
that.
about the data types. Most of the time,
Okay.
you don't need to worry about the data types. So
Okay.
it takes care of for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So here you didn't define the data type. Here also you don't define the data type. You call it whatever the data type here it is. It takes it. But anyway, when
Yeah,
you are
I
using,
understood that. But only question was, how do I know the data type? That was the question. So I
like
got it. Like,
if you have, yeah,
but in case if let's say that I want to assign X to some variable,
ah,
so, but I don't know what kind of variable. Again, I have to say where I have to use where, right? I cannot use the specified type.
you don't need to specify the type.
Okay. Because we are so used to it, right?
Yeah,
So
you are so used to it. You are getting that relaxation now.
yeah, and other things I got it using parameter, passing the name and changing the order and multiple values.
Yep.
And but in the multiple values also same scenario, right? We don't
Yep.
know what type we are getting. We
Yeah.
are using
Automatically it determines the data types. You don't need to.
underscore one underscore two. That is for any tuple type or only multiple return types.
Any tuple, any tuple.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is
Any
just a
type.
tuple.
Okay.
Inside a tuple, if you want to access any value, just use the underscore and the index numbers. That's it.
Okay, those and all it is okay, but only you said that this is another thing, achieving mutability of method parameters.
Yep.
I
For
think
now,
that is,
understand that if you pass.
yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, I got it. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yep. So you're clear with the default values and as well
Yeah,
as.
default it is okay. You assign some values. If you don't user don't assign it, you get the default value,
Correct.
and even the order when you know the parameter
Parameter
name,
name?
order can be varied.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you, Shana.
Yeah. So any other questions from others?
Yeah, Shiva Kalpana here.
Yes, Kalpana.
Yeah, generally in Java we mention break in switch case, right, for each switch case condition.
Correct.
Yeah, but when coming to switch case in Scala, how we are going to achieve that?
I mean, I think you didn't catch one point there. We
Yeah,
don't need that written statement.
we are creating object for the break, and we are using breakable or
First,
breaks in.
first of all, you don't need that break or return statement in Scala.
Okay.
I told you, I clearly mentioned it, right? Case automatically returns the value of the expression corresponding to the matching pattern, and once it is satisfied, I have shown in the example also, maybe if you can refer. So if 400 is matched, even if I don't give the break or return statement here, it is not going to execute the 500 if I give. Automatically comes out now.
Okay, so there is no need to mention break here.
Yep, no need of maintaining break here.
Okay. Thanks, Shiva.
Yep, thank you.
Shiva,
Otherwise, it will become very hectic.
Yeah.
how do we do the comments, single line comment and multi-line comments?
Comments, same Java
Yeah.
code. Yeah, here you can see
Okay,
this is the comment.
//
Yeah,
with star, right?
yep.
Okay, got it. Thank you, Shiva.
Yeah, that's why I mean I always recommend you to start play with your Eclipse IDE. It's the same. It gives you all.
Yeah, is there a way button or something to comment? You can select some certain lines and comment. Is there anything like that in Eclipse?
It's there, right? Control question.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know much about Eclipse.
Okay.
That's
So let's say I have selected this piece of code. I want to comment this. That's it.
How do you do this?
Control question mark.
Okay, control question mark. Thank you, Shiva.
Yep. And again, if you want to uncomment, control question mark.
Okay, control question mark. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No problem.